And now we continue my venture into unfamiliar territory with Season 4 of Survivor, Arabia. Okay, let's rip the band-aid off. Arabia was initially planned to be the 4th season of Survivor, where the contestants would have to survive the climate of Jordan and potentially compete in challenges themed around the Arabian Nights. Everything was set to go, including stuff like them riding in on camels and everything, until the events of September the 11th, where over 3,000 lives were lost. Now, technically, they could have still filmed in Jordan since that country had nothing to do with the incident, but given the US's rising tension against all of the Middle East, a decision was made to pull out of Jordan and film elsewhere. And while it's likely that no one would be harmed in Jordan during the filming, I can understand the reason for pulling out of there, largely because, to be honest, humans can be prejudicial pieces of shit and accuse this season, and potentially the whole show, of being Middle Eastern propaganda and kill the series outright. So with Jordan in the trash, the studio had to rush to make the 4th season and settled on the Marquesas Islands. So, with the limited time to produce the season, did Season 4 turn out to be good in the end? No. Oh sure, the initial concept of 16 contestants from all walks of life competing to survive works well, but in so many ways, the season just feels like it has taken so many steps back from the improvements made in the previous seasons. Let's start with the easiest complaint. The challenges in this season are not my cup of tea at all. Putting aside the challenges that were reused from earlier seasons with no real fixes to it, like Fast Fire, the Bug Eating Challenge, and Blind Leading the Blind, a lot of the newer challenges feel very bottom of the fucking barrel. Hey, let's have contestants open a coconut and maneuver through a course to put the juice into a tube. Or, balance on wood in the sea until you touch it with your hands or fall off.
Do you got stupid written on my forehead?
Or how about, grab a shell, and the last one to come up with a shell is out. Okay, well here's one where you take the rocks out of a boat underwater and then bail it out and you paddle back. Should I even talk much about the kite challenge? Seriously, a fucking kite challenge. A kite challenge. Okay. The challenges are my cup of tea. Do the eliminations make sense at least? Because I've had problems with some of the seasons with that. Well, no, for the most part. Literally in the first episode, Peter got the boot despite not really doing anything wrong to warrant being the first out. At worst, he was a little weird, but so was everyone else in his fucking tribe. Fuck, if they gave Hunter a flashlight, he'd probably talk non-stop about how powerful it is on the battlefield and how it's actually an atomic beam of light or some shit. Another one I found heavily stupid was Gabriel's boot, because all he did was just talk to the new members of the tribe after the split and vibe. And it was also more so focused on either a Sean boot or a John boot up to that point, so to see Gabe get the boot, and unanimously by the way, well okay, minus his one vote, but you can't vote for yourself, this feels a bit fucking odd to me, like what the hell? Gina is also another case where the elimination didn't make any fucking sense, since a good chunk of time after the challenge was spent on putting out the fire and being secretive about the votes. So what the fuck happened? Also, despite it largely being focused on Robert potentially getting the boot, Zoe got the boot instead. The fuck? The only thing she got was her making necklaces. Wow, what a fucking bitch. We gotta get her off the island immediately. Now, yes, a lot of this can tie into the editing being very wonky this season, and I can agree with that. Hell, the winter felt very weird to me because the edit didn't really give her much to work with. That paints her as winter material in my eyes. Oh, and speaking of editing, so remember how in my Africa review I mentioned how stupid it was to use the rites of passage music in scenes that had nothing to do with the rites of passage? Well, it's back, and reused more this season. Fuck!
For one night, you're a member of Saliantu.
Well hey, at the very least, they use a new song for the rites of passage. And it fucking sucks. Also, they couldn't even be bothered to have the following contestants give words in this section like they did with the last 3 seasons. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's try and lighten the mood a bit. This season introduced the more modern version of the tribe swap, where instead of 3 members swapping to the other tribe, all of the contestants are assigned buffs at random and either stay on their tribe or go to the other one to spice up the game. That's a cool idea, and a nice improvement to what Africa did with the tribe swap idea. I like this. This is also the first season to introduce the concept of transferable immunity necklaces at Tribal, where the holder can give up their immunity to protect another. It wasn't used at all this season, but it was a nice idea and concept. We also got to see the the loved ones come to this island this time around, so that was a nice idea. Also, wholesome moment with Kathy and her
precious.
son. In addition, first season had an alliance composed of 2 opposing tribes, and prior to that point, it was composed of members strictly from one tribe, and the Outsiders Alliance, as it was called, did heavily change the trajectory of the season, since instead of Marimau getting a fucking pagonging, it was instead Rotu, save for Pascal and Nelia, since they joined Sean, Vesepia, and Kathy in taking out the remaining members of the Rotu tribe. And to think, this only happened because the Rotu 4 alliance got cocky.
Dude got stupid written on.
John.
But still, massive fucking kudos to Marquesas for the shakeup in the game. This is cool. Sadly, this season was also the first one to introduce one of the more controversial ideas, the rock draw. So, basically, instead of having a force fire making challenge to break the tie at Final 4 or pass votes, it was decided to have everyone, minus the immunity winner, draw rocks, and whoever got the purple rock was out. So, despite not getting any votes at Tribal, Pascal got the boot because he was 33% unlucky. And yes, I know if the rock draw didn't happen, Pascal would have been out. That also would have been fucking stupid. Sure enough, it was a decision that the production admitted was stupid after the fact. And yet, this move was deemed powerful enough to influence future moves in later seasons where people would turn on their alliances instead of letting rocks decide who goes. Crazy how that works, doesn't it? Speaking of Pascal, let's get into my thoughts on the contestants. Peter, honestly, was kinda likable, but his elimination was fucking bullshit. Patricia was okay. A hard worker and caring, but could be a little much and was more so caught in the crossfire between Hunter and Rob's pissing contest. Speaking of which, Hunter was fucking annoying. Very fast. His chemistry with the other members of his tribe weren't that great, especially with Rob, and he basically treated this game like a company. The only thing I found noticeable about him was that he's been selling those stupid atomic beam flashlights after the show. So that, nothing much to note outside of him being, well, fucking annoying. Sarah. But seriously, when you're first seen as you sailing in like Cleopatra and you don't do shit throughout your time on the show, that is not a very good look in my eyes. And frankly, it just paints you as someone who didn't even want to be on the goddamn show. However, and I need to make this clear, these are my thoughts on her as a contestant. As a person, she seems to be doing really well for herself nowadays, and that's fantastic to see. The point of these is only to judge them as strictly contestants and not as people, because those are two drastically different things, and how someone is on the show is very different to how they are in real life, most of the time. Just wanted to clarify that before I move on. Gabriel was fun. He was funny, had great chemistry with his tribe, and was pretty good in challenges. It's just that, like I said earlier, he got snubbed for basically nothing, and that's bullshit. Gina is similar to my thoughts with Gabe, minus the funny and fun portion. She was snubbed by bullshit, but she was pretty good as a contestant. Oh boy, this one. This guy was one of the faces of Survivor for so long. He kept coming back in the later seasons. He has a goddamn monument in one of them. Boston fucking Rob. He was fine this season. He had good chemistry and made some good moves, like with taking out Hunter, but he flew way too close to the sun by trying to take out the Road 2-4 a little too early, and he got the boot. But I can see why he was invited for All-Stars, since he did play a fun game. John.
Stupid.
Zoe. Mostly forgettable, and her elimination was fucking stupid. Next up is... Oh, right. Tammy. She was so forgettable outside of 3 immunity wins that I deadass forgot she was even on the show until I googled the cast list. What a shame. The General. Sean. Really likable, had great chemistry with Vesepia, and pretty good in challenges. Outside of that, he's also well known for his very deep speech about people of color having to work twice as hard to be on equal footing with white people, and was very active in the topic of racism and discrimination, both on the show and off the show, as he was very angry at production for only bringing back Alicia for All-Stars, and not bringing back other African-American contestants like him and Vesepia, his ride or die of the season. But yeah, Sean was a very important figure in Survivor, and it's so unfortunate that he was treated like shit by production and Marquesas, as well as by the casting in veteran seasons. He deserves so much better than that. Pascal was fine. He had great chemistry with Nelia, and the two made a very big move, separating from the Road 2-4 and joining the Minority Alliance, and was pretty decent in challenges. So, remember that bit earlier where I was talking about Sarah? Yeah, it's back here, because as a person, however, he can fuck right off. I sincerely hope he didn't do similar things to Nelia. Anyways... Kathy was honestly robbed. She had really great chemistry, her challenge performance was good, she made some really damn good moves. She didn't put up with anyone's bullshit. It's just a shame that she lost final immunity to Nelia because she could have potentially won the whole damn thing. But yeah, Kathy was great. And now our final two, Nelia and Vesepia. Nelia was fine. She had great chemistry with Pascal, she was pretty good in challenges and with making moves, but she was only starting to make moves on day 24, more than halfway through the season.
Piss!
It's a little bit late, but still though, she was pretty good overall. And now for our first African-American winner of Survivor US, The Sepia. She was very quiet as a player in this season, as she flip-flopped from alliance to alliance, didn't make many big moves when compared to the other contestants, but I don't know if that's specifically because Vesepia didn't do too much this season, or because she had a poor edit. It certainly wouldn't be the first time, nor is it going to be the last. Ugh. Am I happy that we finally got an African-American winner in Survivor? Abso-fucking-lutely, that's incredible. It just sucks personally that she got an edit that depicted her as very quiet, untrustworthy to her allies, and weak in challenges and game moves. She deserved a much better edit. But yeah, as a whole, a lot of the contestants this time around weren't all that great, and even the winner was kind of weak due to the weird edit she got, and I think that's probably the best way I can describe Marquesas. A fucking mess that feels like a step backwards in so many ways when compared to the first 3 seasons. But, at the very least, I can say that I finally saw it. It was certainly a season of Survivor. I'd say hopefully the next season will be better than this, but for what I have seen, that one's gonna be fucking painful. But that is for another day. So that concludes this review. I'm David Grimm, and thank you for watching.